Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sapna Dadwal. I'm working as a professor in the Department of Management. This is my lecture 15 of Business Law of Unit 3. This is the subject which is taught in BBA 4th semester. The topics I'm going to discuss in this lecture are rights of principal and its liabilities for the act of agent to the third parties. Then classification of agent's authority, then personal liability of an agent to third parties, then modes of termination of agency. These are the topics I am going to cover in this lecture. In the earlier lecture number 14, I covered rights, duties of principal, rights and duties of agent. Then what are the modes by which agency is created, and the definition of principles. Now I'm starting with the first topic of this lecture, that is rights of principal. We all know who principal is. I have already discussed the definition of principal in my lecture number 14. Again I am discussing it. The principal, according to section 182 of the Act, the person for whom an act is done by the agent or who is represented in dealings with third person by agent is called as principal. So, the following are the rights of the principal. The first one is to repudiate the contract. If an agent deals on his own account in the business of the agency without first obtaining the consent of his principal, then principal may repudiate the contract. So the second right which principal has got is to claim benefit. So if an agent without the knowledge of principal deals in the business of agency on his own account instead of on the account of principal, the principal is entitled to claim from the agent any benefit which may have resulted to him from these transactions. Principal is entitled to receive all such sums and also interest on them. The position of an agent being fiduciary in character, the agent cannot conflict his personal interest with his duty to the principal. Now, third right the principal has got to ratify or disown agent's act. So, where acts are done by an agent on behalf of another or without his knowledge or authority, where agent is doing without the knowledge of principal and his authority, then the principal may elect to ratify or disown such acts. So he has the right to disown the agent's act which agent is doing without his consent or without the authority given by the principal to him. Now, the next right is to revoke agent's authority. The principal may revoke the authority given to his agent by giving a reasonable notice of the revocation at any time before the authority has been exercised so as to bind the principal. So principal can always revoke agent's authority. He has the right. He can always revoke agent's authority. He can take back by giving him a reasonable notice to him. Then next one is to claim loss or profit. The principal is entitled to compensation for any loss sustained by the agent, sustained by him, or to any profit accrued. Where these are the two conditions: where the agent acts contrary to the direction given by the principal, and where loss is caused due to agent's neglect, want of skill, or misconduct. So in these two cases, the principal can claim loss or profit from the agent. If the agent is acting without the directions or opposite the directions of the principal, where agent loss has suffered, principal has suffered a loss because of the neglect of agent. Then next right is to demand accounts. Principal is entitled to demand proper accounts from the agent, and he can demand accounts at any time. Then the last one is to refuse remuneration when agent is guilty of misconduct. So the principal has a right to refuse remuneration to the agent who is guilty of misconduct in the business of the agency, or who is not doing properly his work as per the direction of the principals. Now the next topic is classification of agent's authority. The agent's authority can be classified as, the first one is actual or real authority. So the actual or real authority is that the principal has actually delegated it to the agent. This will or this authority includes the task expressly employedly entrusted to the agent, and also those acts which would be necessary to accomplish the entrusted task. Very clear from this what is actual authority. Then second comes ostensible or apparent authority. An agent can also bind the principal to third parties by acts done by him within his apparent authority. And ostensible authority, apparent or ostensible authority. So apparent or ostensible authority means an authority which the third parties dealing with the agent can presume to be with the agent in relation to a particular business ordinary. The third type of agent's authority is agent authority in emergency. An agent would always have some authority in an emergency to do all such acts for the purpose of protecting the principal from loss. So when this type of authority is called as emergency authority or emergency authority. Now the next topic is principal's liabilities for the acts of agent to the third parties. The relation of principal with third parties are governed by the agent's authority conferred on him by the principal. So the authority of agent means the power or capacity of the agent to bind the principal with third parties. So section 2 to 226 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 emphasize upon the enforcement and consequences of agent's contract and provides that principal is liable for contracts entered into through an agent who acts within the scope of his authority, and he is bound by obligation arising from the acts done by an agent. So the basic premises of agency is the act of agent bind the principal towards the third parties. Now the following are the circumstances when the principal would be liable to third parties. The first one is when agent acted within his authority. If an agent has acted within the scope of his authority, the principal is bound towards the third parties. Then in that case, all the contracts by agents are liable. Then principal is liable towards the third parties. Now the second one is when agent acted beyond authority. When an agent has done an act which does not fall within type of authority available to him, the principal shall be liable for such an unauthorized act to the third parties if he ratifies it. Then third one is when agent committed fraud or misrepresentation. An agent, while acting in the course of agency, like while pursuing the business entrusted to him by his principal, commits a fraud or makes a misrepresentation against the third party, the principal shall be liable to that party if the wrong act was done by the principal himself. So the rule will apply even when the principal had not authorized the wrong act. For example, A, being B's agent for the sale of goods, induces C to buy them by misrepresentation which he was not authorized by B to make. The contract is voidable as between B and C at the option of C. Now the fourth condition is principal bound by notice given to agent. The knowledge of agent acquired during his work as agent is believed to be knowledge available to the principal also. So thus, if any notice is given to the agent, the principal is bound by that notice. Principal cannot say that he doesn't have any knowledge of this notice. He is bound by the knowledge. He is bound by that notice given to the agent. He is liable towards that agent, towards that notice to third parties. Example is A is employed by B to buy from C certain goods, of which C is the apparent owner. A buys them accordingly. In the course of discussion for the sale, A learns that the goods really belong to D, but B is ignorant of that fact. B had to recover a certain amount from C under an old transaction. So B is not entitled to set off a debt owing to him from C against the price of goods, since he is deemed to know the goods belong to D. Very clear from this. Now the next topic is personal liability of an agent to the third parties. So as per section 230, it says that in the absence of any contract to that effect, an agent cannot personally enforce contract entered into by him on behalf of his principal, nor is he personally bound by them. But there are circumstances under which an agent becomes personally liable to third parties, and these circumstances are: first, in case of foreign principal, where the contract is made by an agent for the sale or purchase of goods for a merchant residing abroad or a principal residing abroad. In the absence of any contract to the contrary, it is presumed that the agent is personally liable for such contracts. Here, principal is not liable, the agent is personally liable. Now the second case is in case of undisclosed principal. So where the contract is made by an agent for an undisclosed principal, then it is presumed that agent is personally liable. Then third one is in case of incompetent principal. So where a contract is made by an agent for a person who cannot be sued, like for example minor, lunatic, person of unsound mind, or foreign ambassador, in the absence of any contract to the contrary, so it is presumed that the agent is personally liable to third parties in such contracts. Then in case of acts not ratified, so where an agent is untruly representing himself as agent, and their case in these cases he is personally liable for the consequences to the third parties. The fifth is where promoters have made contract and yet company is not incorporated. The promoters are personally liable for the third parties because the company has not yet come into the existence. The promoters are personally liable. Then next one is where agent has made contract without disclosing about principal. Then in these cases he is personally liable to third parties because he hasn't disclosed to the third parties who is the principal. So for the third parties he is the principal, then here he is responsible. Now the next topic is termination of agency. Termination of agency means the end of the relationship of principal and agent. The following are the modes of termination of agency. The first one is by act of parties. So agency may be terminated by act of parties in any of the following ways. The first one is by agreement. Agency may be terminated by the parties by an agreement at any time by mutual consent. So parties may terminate the agency by mutual consent and agreement. Both principal and agent can agree and can terminate agency. Then second one is by revocation and renunciation. An agency may be terminated by revoking agent's authority by notice or by renunciation by an agent by notice. So in both the cases the agency get terminated. Now the third one is by renouncing. When the agent renounces the business of the agency is terminated. Then next is by completion or by performance. When the business for which agency was created is completed, the agency gets terminated itself. For example, when an agent is appointed to sell a house, then agency is completed when the house is sold. Now the second category is by operation of law. So by agency is also terminated by operation of law in the following cases. First is by death or insanity. When principal or agent dies or becomes of unsound mind or lunatic, the agency is automatically terminated. Then second one is by insolvency of the principal. When principal becomes insolvent, the agency gets automatically terminated. Then other modes of terminations are by efflux of time, where an agency is for the fixed period of time, then it is terminated on the expiry of time, whether the purpose for which the agency is constituted is accomplished or not. Then by destruction of subject matter. When subject matter of the agency is destroyed, the agency is terminated. Then is principal or agent becoming an alien enemy. So where principal or agent belongs to different countries and if they become alien enemies, then agency gets terminated. Then by object of agency becoming unlawful. Then if the object of agency becomes unlawful, then agency automatically get terminated, because unlawful agency, the subject being unlawful, it cannot be a valid contract. Now below are the questions which are related to the other topics. If any query is there, please do contact me. If any confusion is there, you can always contact me. Please ignore the writing mistakes. Thank you so much.